Welcome, everyone, to What's Working. I'm Cam Marston. So grateful that you're joining us this time. We've got a very interesting show here. I'm meeting a lot of new people to put on the show with a passion towards something that I think is in front of a lot of us any given day, but perhaps is just off of our radar. With that, I'm going to get into exactly what SNASY services are, and I'm going to do it by asking my guests to introduce themselves and how they got into it. Dale, we'll start with you.
My name's Dale Jackson. I am from LaGrange, Georgia, and I'm the father of Colin Jackson, who is a 17-year-old that still wears a diaper and probably will for the rest of his life.
Colin is his name?
Colin.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about what SNASY has to do with Colin.
So for starters, SNASY, it sounds snazzy, but it's not spelt the same way, SNASY. It stands for Special Needs Assistant Station for You. The 4 is silent. And when Colin was born, we didn't know this, but he was having seizures literally 24/7 for the first 18 to 24 months of his life. It unfortunately did some damage to his brain development. And because of that, he is very limited in his capacity. He doesn't communicate really in any way. And because of that, it's very difficult to potty train him.
Yeah.
And so as you get older in life and as your 3-year-old that you change his diaper in the backseat of the car or on the changing table in a bathroom turns into a 8-year-old, and well, then it becomes a lot more difficult to do that. And then once he gets to be 15 and 16 and 17 and hits puberty, it's not something, it's really just impossible to change an adult diaper. You don't want to lay him down on the grass in front of 5,000 people at the fireworks celebration, or, he's too big to take to the backseat of the car. And we're certainly not going to lay him down the floor of a public restroom or a porta-john.
Yeah.
So that's how we got here.
And SNASY it's a reference to a facility, not a crate. What is the word I'm looking for?
Well, at the
container.
The bare minimum, yes, is a container, but the SNASY process, which I think you alluded to, is a lot more. It's so much wrapped into one word, because as a society and as families with special needs, society has told us without saying it, you're not welcome.
Yeah.
And even when we do venture out and try to attend an event, it's very difficult and scary.
Julian, why don't you guys get involved here? Introduce yourselves and why this is important to you, please.
My name is Julian Stevens. I have my wife, Olivia, with me, and I'm going to let her kind of give a little quick background of our son, Preston, and then I'll explain how Dale and we got to know each other.
Good. Go ahead, Olivia.
Hi, I'm Olivia. As Julian said, we have a 14-and-a-half-year-old son, Preston, who, when he was 14 and a half months old, had a drowning accident. So that left him in a wheelchair, nonverbal. And just like Dale, when they're smaller, he still wears pull-ups and diapers. It's easy. You can use the changing tables. You can use the back seats of a car. But as he's gotten older, everywhere we go, he's in a wheelchair. So that's difficult within itself. And then you add the element of he has a G-tube for feeding. You're trying to change his diaper, his pull-up out in public, and he's too long for the backseat of the car, So when we were introduced to SNASY, it caught our eye and our attention, and it's become a passion to us as parents.
Dale, tell me about your you reached out to these two, to Julian and Olivia, when you saw them on campus at Auburn University. Is that correct?
Correct.
And my suspicion is you saw a kindred spirit based on what they had going on. Tell me about that. You looked at them and said, I've got an answer to a question that you didn't even know you were asking. Tell me about that.
Yeah, and just let me say, I will apologize in advance because I have a tendency to get very emotional. And it's because of what you just alluded to. Is I know what it felt like to try to attend a football game at Jordan-Hare Stadium and as a parent. And even when you are physically there, in your mind, you are absolutely a nervous wreck. You are waiting on that one of 17 emergencies to happen. You know they're going to happen. You just don't know when they're going to happen. And so you're constantly going through your head of, okay, if it happens now, where am I going to go? How am I going to deal with this? And so what we started at Auburn, which is, again, that process, and I apologize for my service dog for whining in the background, but because society doesn't think about us, and they don't think about us because, quite frankly, 98.4% of the time, we have succumbed to that fear and we just stayed home.
Yeah.
And so we're not there for society to think about us. And so much of what SNASY does is it starts with an itinerary. And
now, this is fascinating to me. You guys have gone, explain this to me on the phone. You've gone through some extraordinary steps to really lay out a path for people to be able to attend these events and all these variables that so often could creep up and really, is it fair to say, destroy the event, destroy your outing? You've thought through for these families.
Yeah, because
Well, it's happened to all of us at
I was
some
about
point.
to say he's probably has experienced them.
Yeah.
yeah. And so when I hear people talk, or even when I think about it, I know what that feeling feels like. And so it's hard for me not to get emotional.
Yeah.
Because it takes so much effort for us to get our families, a normal family with 4 or 5 people is hard to get out and about. But when you have a special needs child, it takes 2 or 3 hours just to gather up everything and plan everything, get everything loaded up in the van. And then you get to this event that you're already scared to death of. And then 20 minutes into the event, it starts raining.
Yeah.
And you're like, dadgummit, you just pack everything back up and going home. And then you think, why did I even try to do this?
Yeah.
You know?
You made a good point to me on the phone that we're talking about special needs children, but it's also adults too.
Yeah.
It's we have my family, without getting into too much detail, is dealing with some Alzheimer's questions right now, and you mentioned that to me as a beneficiary. That's maybe not the right word of SNASY. Is not just children, but it's people like me caring for Alzheimer's parents.
Yeah, and that's something that I try to share. And really the Lord kind of gave me that. And we saw it in the real world at Auburn. Obviously, we went into Auburn University to serve, obviously, selfishly, families that look just like my family.
Yeah.
But then once we actually started serving families on game day, we started realizing the thousands of families that just simply had hip replacement surgery and having a hard time getting from point A to point B, or that family that typical, like I like to say, a typical 58-year-old daughter who is trying to take her dad to one last football game, who has been battling Alzheimer's. And that's one thing that Cam, I'd like to kind of share with the listening public, is that it's easy to listen to me or Julian, and it's easy for us to selfishly think to ourselves silently. We wouldn't ever say this out loud. Well, boy, I'm glad I don't have a 17-year-old son wearing a diaper. Well, you don't. And the likelihood of you waking up tomorrow having a 17-year-old son wearing a diaper out of the blue is pretty slim to none.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality that your mom might call you and say, you know what, Tammy, just got a phone call from the doctor. Your dad now has Alzheimer's. And guess what? In 2 or 3 years, he's going to be wearing a diaper.
Yeah.
And he's going to probably be able to communicate about as well as my 17-year-old son can communicate.
Do you think this, and Julian, I want to get you in here, this need that you've identified has been ever present, but off the radar of people like me, to be very candid. Just, I'm not aware of what your struggles are. It's a lack of awareness. Now that you've created something that identifies this awareness, that people can relate to, you've got people like Julian here who have seen it and have, frankly, it sounds like, dragged you to Mobile, Alabama, has identified Mardi Gras as a place that probably selfishly, knowing Julian like I do, that he would like to attend and needs your services here so he can go attend the Mardi Gras parade. Julian.
Well, and that you bring something that is very, very accurate. We we have gone around trying to get sponsors for the project and things like that. And the majority of the people that I talk to, one of the first things they say is, this is a great idea. We love this. But is there a need for it? Is it really that many out there? And my first response to them is, yes, they are, but they're doing everything they can for you not to know they're there.
Interesting. That's an interesting comment. Why?
Because the last thing we want to do is draw attention to ourselves, draw attention to our child, and our attention to our other children that are with us at these events. And so we do everything we can for you not to realize we're there and not to realize our needs. So if we are an AAU basketball tournament down at the convention center, we take our child out the elevator to the parking deck, clean out the back of the Suburban, lay him in the back of the Suburban, change his diaper, come back in. Nobody ever sees it. Nobody ever knows what's going on. But those needs are there for the people that do go. And then there's, like Dale said, there's a ton that don't do things. We've never taken Preston to Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
It's just too much trouble. And there's just too many things that can go wrong. And it's, and so the need is there. It is under the radar because people are doing everything they can not to be different, but also not to cause trouble wherever they are, because they require extra work, whether it's if you go to a restaurant downtown, these, they're a little bit smaller environments. They're going to have to move tables for you to get the wheelchair in there. There's some place you just can't go. And so that's one of the things that this project is trying to do, is to alleviate those speed bumps.
Is the word that's coming to mind is shame. Is this a shame? Or is this something different?
It's not. You're probably, when people first interact with the public, with a child or adult or whatever that's in this situation, there's probably a little bit of that. You're absolutely right. You get over that real quick.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to, because you would just go crazy.
Yeah.
It's such a 24/7 project with your child or your parent or whatever, that you can't. You've got to get to the point where you're just comfortable wherever, whenever.
You just don't want to appear so needy. Olivia.
Right. I think too, you do everything you can to make it look easy, but to not draw attention. And also, I feel like as a parent, I don't want to say there's a shame, but when you feel like you can't take care of your child properly, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a mother, and you have to get over it, but, and I'm getting emotional too, but you want to be able to take care of your child properly. And when you go into these vulnerable situations where 15,000 things could happen and then attention is drawn to you, it makes it look like you don't know how to take care of your child.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine.
Out in public to all the people watching.
Uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable, hurt.
Hurt.
Cam, I would say hurt.
Tell me about hurt.
For me, and the idea of this process stemmed from, I am a fanatic when it comes to Auburn football. I literally grew up
Teaches
yelling
character.
and screaming. Yeah. If you're going to be an Auburn fan, there's some real hurt there. But as a kid, and I won't go into the whole thing of how I become an Auburn fan, but needless to say, I ended up with the opportunity to be able to go rabbit hunt with Pat Dye when I was 9 years old. And he gave me my first tickets ever to the Auburn football game, which happened to be his last game coached at Jordan-Hare in 92 against Georgia, my arch nemesis, because I live in Georgia. But I was the guy in the end zone, had season tickets on row 1. It was technically row 2 because there wasn't a row 1 on the north end zone. Wearing the orange jumpsuit, the orange wig, had a 10-foot flag on the back of my truck. I was in town at Auburn every game day at 6 a.m., driving around town. And I dreamed as a dad, like when you daydream and you think of what does it mean to be a dad? For me, what that meant was I pictured throwing the football with my son outside Jordan-Hare Stadium. And then when my son was born, and I remember at 14 months old, that doctor explained to me that my son's never going to throw the football.
Yeah.
He's definitely not going to do it outside Jordan-Hare Stadium. And so that hurt. You carry with you as a parent all those dreams that you had for your child. And then when those dreams are not only crushed, and there's no other polite way to say it, they were crushed for my 17-year-old son, Colin. But now, because of Colin, the likelihood of me being able to throw the football with my 12-year-old son, Gavin, and Leo and Wesley are also infringed upon.
Yeah.
And so I refused to just sit back and tolerate that. And there had to be a better way. And me, I've always been more kind of gung-ho and willing to dare and willing to take the risk that one of these 17 things are going to happen. And it's embarrassing sometimes to have to get up because your 17-year-old son just pooped his pants.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing when your 7-month-old baby poops his pants.
Right.
When your 17-month-old year-old poops his pants.
Yeah.
That's a little embarrassing.
Yeah.
You know, but I wasn't going to allow that to stop me from being there with my 12-year-old son.
You got into, and I see where this conversation is going. I want to get into what you've got going on here in Mobile. Prior to that, though, we somehow got off subject, and you talked about the agenda, the itinerary that you create for people like the Stevens here as a part of SNASY. If you would, explain that.
And I explain this to whether you're a restaurateur or whether you're a pastor at a church. Our families like mine and Julian's families, there's one thing we never do. We never show up to a door without already knowing what's on the other side of that door. We have to visualize our day from start to the event and then back home safely. And if we can't visualize that entire day and process, well, guess what? We're not going, which also means we're not going to show up at your place of business and we're not going to spend money with you. And so what the number one thing we do at SNASY, if you want to go to an Auburn game or now if you want to attend a parade at Mardi Gras, we're going to give you that itinerary that lets you know in advance where you're going to park, how far away that parking spot is away from your tailgate space or from your concession stand, and then where from you're going to be sitting and how far away each one of those steps are. And then most importantly, we're providing you the opportunity to not have to show up 4.5 hours early just to get a good seat.
Yeah.
And that's the last thing that we want to do. We're wanting to get in there as quick as possible. We're wanting to stay just as long as where we can say we attended the game or we attended the parade, and we're getting the heck out of Dodge because we know that there's going to be an emergency that pops up. And the longer we're there, the more chances that's going to happen. So again, with the itinerary, we try to show that family the start to finish process so that, and this is if I could just convey this one topic that I know Julian and his family understand, you know, what good is it to attend a football game or a Mardi Gras parade if you are literally sitting there the entire day, a nervous wreck?
No way to be in the moment. No way to enjoy it.
But if you can have that peace of mind that we try to provide families that know, okay, if something does happen, here's who's going to help you, here's where you're going to go to get that help, and here's what it's going to look like to be taken care of. And now that peace of mind is immeasurable in value. And you only know that if you are a special needs family.
I can see that. I can see exactly what you're saying, that this is an awareness that most of my listeners likely are completely unfamiliar with. But based on your expression and their expressions, this is a world that we didn't know existed out there. So tell me, imagine that I have a child or a parent and I want to take advantage of this. I reach out to SNASY and say, hey, send me your itinerary. Tell me exactly what this looks like.
Yeah, we are... We're so thrilled that you kind of, in a funny way, kind of mentioned Julian kind of dragging SNASY selfishly to Mardi Gras in Mobile. And while I will say maybe that was a little bit of his motivation, I'm okay with selfishness. If it means you getting served and 1,000 other families also getting served, I'm perfectly okay with it. But I want to say this one thing. The city of Mobile, the people of Mobile, have been absolutely amazing to hear this idea and gravitate toward this idea and want to help. And that's why I'm so thrilled. I was just on a phone call right before I got here with the city of Mobile, the mayor's office, And they've graciously given us the most prime parking spot in all of Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
Literally, the entire Fort Connie parking lot.
Wow.
They've allowed us to reserve off parking spaces. So back to your point, I'm trying not to get sidetracked, which I do 1,000 times. But, so when you want to come, you're going to be able to select what day you want to attend, which parade you want to attend, and register your family. We're going to know, do you have a family of 3, a family of 6? What does that look like? And we're going to assign a parking spot to you. We're working with some other nonprofit organizations, some fraternities and so forth, where we're going to provide host, so that we're hoping to be able to, when you show up, when you pull into the parking lot and you give us your name, we're going to assign a host to go with you, follow you to that parking space number 37. We're going to help that potentially single mother get her son in a wheelchair out of that van, get the diaper bag out, get it all loaded in. We're going to have a complete SNASY trailer in the parking lot for our family so that they can tailgate in the parking lot. We're going to have snacks provided. We're going to have an air-conditioned and or heated tent, depending on what Mother Nature throws at us at any given day here.
Any given day.
A lot like LaGrange. It could be snow. It was snowing on me at 45 degrees this morning passing Auburn University on the interstate. But
there's a cold day in hell joke somewhere in there. But you've got this container. And the significance of that is something that I wasn't aware of. Go ahead and tell me about that.
Yeah, so we've got containers and trailers, and our trailers are obviously on wheels and they're very mobile. But we also have containers, and as the Stevens will attest, we don't want to sound rude, but man, you physically have to have a wheelchair ramp to get into a place, but if you don't have a place to change our son, our loved one's diaper, then what good is all this other stuff that you've got? And there is, I guarantee you right now, go downtown, the city of Mobile, and I don't want to single out Mobile because you could name any city you can possibly think of, and you tell me someplace that I could go and change my 17-year-old's diaper or your 78-year-old dad's diaper. Yeah. Have you ever attempted to change an adult poopy diaper? Run that through your head for just a second, and you tell me how you're going to do it. You can tell them they're going to stand up. You ever try? Think about the process of cleaning a dirty diaper with somebody just standing up in the corner of a bathroom stall or in a bathroom stall. So we provide ADA wheelchair accessible bathrooms that have a full length 72-inch table that folds down off the wall. It's adjustable in height. And if it's not adjustable in height, we also have what's called a Hoyer lift. Yeah. And that is so that single mother she's every bit of 102 pounds soaking wet, but her son is 180 pounds. Yeah. Very heavy and soaking wet in that wheelchair. And that Hoyer lift will help her get him out of that wheelchair onto that table, change his diaper. Or sometimes, as I was talking over with the city, we inside of our containers, we also have like little living rooms set up with lazy boys. Because if you're in a wheelchair, a lot of times your loved one needs to get out of that wheelchair and just get into that zero gravity position to take the pressure points off of them in the wheelchair. They just need 30 minutes to get out of the wheelchair for a minute. Yeah. And so we also provide that as well.
Unbelievable. You're pointing out things that frankly have been all around me my entire life, but I've never noticed. I've never known that this was a need. And I can't decide whether to be ashamed of it or blameless, but it's just, you've pointed things out to me that I did not know of. Let me pause here and say, I'm so happy to hear that our city has treated you so well. We are, I'm very, very happy to hear that. And I'm grateful that our mayor it sounds like has embraced this the way he has. So, Julian, Olivia, tell me about your plans for Mardi Gras. How has your Mardi Gras season this year changed, perhaps, as a result of this new opportunity?
Well, we're going.
We're going to go.
It's that simple, is that we will be able to go not only once a press, probably multiple times. Yeah. And we will be able to enjoy it. Yeah. And there's things that we do for our other kids or do for Preston that we don't enjoy the time, but we do it, as every parent sacrifices for their children. And, but this is going to be one of those that you can't take away all of the issues, but this mitigates 99% of them.
No kidding.
And it provides an environment that is conducive to enjoying your time with your special needs child or parent or, whatever.
You've said that the city of Mobile has gotten behind it in a wonderful way. But in our phone call the other day, you said there are some other organizations locally that have recognized, perhaps like I'm feeling right now, oh my gosh, this is a world I didn't know existed. We want to be a part of it. Tell me about that.
Well, thankfully, because of other families and Julian specifically, Julian has worked his butt off to try to help connect me because I'm not local. I admit that I'm not local Mobilian or whatever you're called. But I tell you what, it's become a second home to me over the past year. But we've already connected with the infirmary. We've connected with USA South. I mean, and USA Health.
Yeah.
And so we've already had a meeting with the assistant athletic director because he heard about what we were doing at Auburn University.
You mean this is at USA at South
Yes.
Alabama, the assistant athletic director. Okay,
Yes.
please
so
continue.
we came down and did a tour. He showed us the brand new stadium. You have a beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
And so Dr. Victor Cohen took us on a tour of the stadium, and he actually wants to develop a partnership with SNASY so that we can have 2 of our containers inside the stadium. I mean, y'all already have Jordan-Hare Stadium doesn't even have a family restroom.
Yeah.
And y'all have 4 or 5 of them in the stadium. But I was showing him, I was like, this is a beautiful bathroom for a mother to take her 3-year-old to his potty training. I said, but still, where do you change an adult diaper?
That's right.
You're going to lay them on the floor?
Yeah.
And so Victor, he totally saw that. And so he wants to have 2 of our stations positioned inside the stadium. So they're in the process of kind of working out the details on that. And that they're looking forward to seeing this in action for Mardi Gras so that we can then translate that into, so everybody locally and that goes to the University of South Alabama football games can actually see that happen as well.
Yeah. So the sponsor, go ahead, Julie.
Well, and I was just going to add to what Dale was saying. With the city's encouragement, the idea is to start with Mardi Gras, get everything set up, get the infrastructure in place, and then after Mardi Gras is over, you have South has their facilities and also facilities all around year-round around Mobile, at the Civic Center when it's done, at the Convention Center, just various places in downtown so that these facilities are available 24/7, 365 days a year to the community. And that's the goal. That is what we're working towards. That is what the city sees in their vision and what they want to provide for their community. This is the city. We could not do any of this without the help that we have gotten from the city.
Yeah.
Because they, it's they make the decisions.
Right. And they have access to
Yep.
the spaces and
Exactly.
control what goes into the spaces. Did I hear that the sponsors, if someone would agree to sponsor this, they're going to get naming rights or brand recognition somewhere? Tell me about that, Dale.
Yeah. So right now we are working with a variety. We haven't had anybody sign on the dotted line just yet, but we're very close. We're talking to the infirmary healthcare system. We're talking to USA Health. We're also talking to Budweiser Busch distributorship here, and that's what. I'm a business owner, and I am all for serving families. I've helped nonprofits raise tons of money just locally. But what my dream is for this to be sustainable. And in order for this to truly be sustainable, we have to go way beyond the idea of, hey, let me cut you this check out of the goodness of my own heart, and I want to help a family. We need to help thousands of families. And this is kind of what Julian just kind of hit on a little bit, and I want to kind of drive this point home, is it's one thing, like I want to go to an Auburn football game. I want to be able to take my family to an Auburn football game. I want to be able to attend a Mardi Gras parade. But both of those, 3 or 4 parades a year, 3 or 4 football games a year, that's not life-changing. Let me tell you what's life-changing. The ability to be able to go have dinner on a Tuesday night at 7 o'clock in downtown Mobile. Well, that's what me and Julian can't do. Okay. It's only an hour and a half, but man, it still takes us 45 minutes to get everybody ready, get in the van, drive downtown, search for a perfect parking spot nearby, walk in. As soon as we walk in, well, guess what? My son eats first because I have to feed him every bite he eats. Well, guess what? He's eating first. Well, he may just poop his pants first.
Yeah.
And then 30 minutes into the meal, he poops his pants. Well, guess what? I can't ignore that. I don't expect the 15 people sitting around me to ignore that either. So I have to get up, take him back to the truck, drive 20, 30 minutes back to the house, change his diaper. And then guess what? When I come back, my family's already done eating. Well, guess what? I knew that whole experience was going to happen to begin with. So guess what? I stayed home.
Yeah.
I didn't spend my money at that restaurant downtown Mobile.
Right.
And so that's what the ultimate finish line is, to provide not just at big events, but one day very soon, we're building out an entire process where families, and I say that very specifically, families / everybody will actually be able to use our services, these services that were created out of a spirit of necessity to serve families like mine and Julian's. Our families will get to use these services for free, because they'll always be for free for those who need it, those that have to have it. But because we're providing it for special needs families, families that are battling Alzheimer's, families that are battling a stroke victim, like, they get the services for free. But if we can open it up and allow everybody to use it, and maybe they pay a monthly $5.99 a fee a month. Well, now that goes to sustainability.
So
now,
I could use it
right.
and have you create my agenda for me.
Absolutely. So
Parking
you'll
place,
be a
everything.
normal family will be able to book a dinner reservation in downtown Mobile on a Tuesday night and get assigned a parking spot.
Yeah.
And then we're working with the city right now to develop a system in which, when you get to that parking spot, because we're developing an app to where you're going to actually kind of dispatch yourself. And that with GPS directions. And then there's going to be a golf cart service that knows how far you are away from that parking spot. They're going to know if you left your house 15 minutes late because you're a typical family and stuff happens and you're running late. So that app is going to notify the golf cart driver, this wheelchair accessible golf cart, that you're running a little bit late. Well, guess what? It's also going to notify the restaurant owner, though we're running a little bit late. Let's adjust the tables. And so you're going to be able to get a parking spot, get golf cart transportation, and then get a transportation to the restaurant you're going to, eat dinner. And then when my son poops his diaper 15 minutes into dinner, I'm going to be able to call that same golf cart back to that restaurant, and they're going to connect me with that SNASY station that is a block and a half away, right on the corner, provided by the city of Mobile. And now, a process that used to take me, or today takes me 47 minutes to get my son back to the truck, back to the house, change his diaper, then drive back to the restaurant. Well, now that whole entire thing can happen in about 6 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now I'm having dinner with my family in downtown Mobile.
It's a concierge service.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
A door-to-door concierge service that takes care of everything, including, hey, I don't want to have to walk from my car to the restaurant. That could be blocks. I want to make sure that golf cart is there for me. It's really remarkable.
It's a huge service to the city also, because the number one complaint that every city has is parking, parking, parking.
Yeah.
Well, if you can connect everybody with a golf cart,
Yeah.
well, now that parking lot, it can be a half a mile outside of town. And so it's going to open up all of downtown to make it more accessible for everybody, not just special needs families.
So you've talked to me about the sponsors that are almost online. They haven't signed anything yet. You've talked to me about the great reception the city of Mobile has given you, which makes me very proud of my town. What's next? What remains to be done? Mardi Gras, they're not going to delay that to get your organization in place. What needs to happen quickest to make sure what we're talking about here for February comes true?
Well, I guess kind of to put it bluntly, like we so far, all of this expense is coming out of my pocket.
Yeah.
And while the city loves it and wants to help. We're kind of doing this last minute, and so there's not a line item in the budget to pay for this. And so, and at the same time, I'm trying to kind of arrange for things, and we got signs that we want to make, with our sponsor's logo on. We just need to know which sponsors we're talking about.
Right.
And because I want to do them right by them, to let everybody know who's helping us provide this service. So number one thing right now is we need to just kind of close the gap on some sponsorship. I'm literally in the process of building the trailer and have it ready to go. And we're already talking like with the local Porta-John company, the local parking facilities, and again, the city is just helping us coordinate with all these individuals and to kind of map out this process. I was on the phone yesterday with our website designer because we have to figure out, okay, well, how are families going to register? And then when they do register, that the communication between families, again, is so important to provide that peace of mind so that they know that they're taken care of before we get here, before they drive into that parking lot. And we're also looking for volunteers, meaning some different organizations, ARC of Alabama and the local ARC chapters they have been absolutely amazing. To that point, I would be remiss to not to mention this. One thing I'm extremely excited about is thanks to Mr. Tim Cooper with ARC of Alabama. And of those that don't know, ARC is like the go-to organization for all things ADA accessible for the state of Alabama. But he has helped us to secure a major grant with Senator Katie Britt's office.
Oh, wow.
So I mentioned already about this SNASY trailer that we're designing. It's a 24-foot trailer. It's going to have a full wheelchair accessible bathroom with an adult changing station in it and an additional bathroom just for any normal person to use. But Senator Katie Britt has she's going to award us a grant to build 3 more of those. And that's
good for her.
So we're going to actually do a press conference here in Mobile in Fort Condy parking lot there at the trailer. And on February the 5th, we're going to have a big press release. So I think that the mayor and his staff will be there and Senator Katie Britt. And we're going to talk about that and kind of talk about the future with the city of Mobile and what that looks like.
Yeah.
Well, and one thing I want to say real quick, Cam, is going along what you were asking. This is not pie in the sky. This is going to be done, going to be set up by the first Mardi Gras parade that Friday night, and it's going to be in place. Now, we're still working constantly to pay for it.
Yeah.
But it is going to be there, and it's going to be functional. It's going to be available for people.
Yeah.
So it's not, we're not waiting till it's paid for to do it.
Yeah. So little did you two know that as you were walking through Jordan-Hare, this football game this past fall, that it would lead to you being here with me and what may be a brand new, or at least it may be brand new experience for you from Mardi Gras. How about that?
Had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, we literally got off the bus. Game Day Foundation sponsored Preston to go to a game. And so we were there with them, and we literally got off the bus. We're minding our own business, walking into the stadium, and this guy comes and starts harassing us.
Yeah.
And
you're like, no, I gave it the office. I gave it the office.
And he's like, no, but we have food. So we were like, okay, we went in there.
And we had our 17-year-old and 10-year-old with us, which was food.
Yeah.
Okay, drink, sure. And that's one of the things I think we kind of touched on this is when it's bad enough when you only have a special needs child or a special needs adult or, just some sort of disability in the family. But when you have other children, we have 4 children total, just to make it easier for everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, these kids, our kids, and I've said this many a times, they have gone through more than they should ever have to go through. And they've done it gracefully, don't get me wrong, but we try to make everything in our household as normal as possible, if that can be done. And everybody has a role. Everybody helps out. But what I noticed at Auburn, when we got snagged, is that it makes it enjoyable for the other children too. And
interesting. Tell me about that.
It just, I mean, it takes some of the responsibility, and I hate to use that word, but I mean, like I said, everybody has a role, you know. Preston is on a ventilator. He has to be suctioned. I mean, so, you know, if I'm doing 15 things and Julian's doing something, it's like, hey, you know, other kids, you got to go do this. You need to go feed him. You need to help me change his diaper, you know, all those things. So when you go somewhere and you're in a proper environment that is conducive to your needs and to Preston's needs, it takes some of the responsibility and the stress off the other children, and it allows them to actually enjoy whatever we're doing.
Yeah.
Like the Auburn game, you know, I was about in tears. I'm not gonna lie to you, because some things, we had some hiccups along the way, and Dale can say, I mean, it was just one thing kind of after the other, and they made it easier. And I said probably 50 times that day, if it wasn't for SNASY, who I had never heard of,
Right.
Did not even know something like that existed. If
Yeah.
it wasn't for SNASY, this day could have went really, really wrong, you know, and would not have been enjoyable for my 17-year-old, who is a rabid Auburn fan, or my 10-year-old who had never been to an Auburn game. It was Preston's first Auburn game, and the day was very enjoyable, thanks to SNASY.
That's fantastic to hear. This is wonderful. What's the call to action? What do you need from me? What do you need from people like me? What do you need from, how do people find you? SNASY.org, I see printed here, but tell me what you need from your listeners, your, you know, people like me.
Well, twofold. One, people and money. We need businesses, and I want to say that very clearly. I am a businessman, and SNASY is an opportunity for businesses to join what we're doing and to make money. And I say that unabashedly, that we have to make money, because I want to serve millions of people.
Yeah.
And SNASY's going to serve millions of people. And we're going to help make millions, if not billions of dollars for businesses. So local businesses, that person that's listening right now, reach out to SNASY.org. Let's talk about a sponsorship for the future and today. And then organizations, if you have a special needs organization and you serve families locally, we want to hear from you. We want to send out information to all of your members. If you are, for instance, a fraternity, we're right now TKE at Auburn University, and we're trying to connect with them locally. They have been amazing to help us set up that tent at Auburn University and that fraternity, but they're also willing to help provide individuals, fraternities and sororities. We need volunteers so that when Julian and his family show up to that parade on February the 6th, we can have someone there in the parking lot, meet them, and to provide that peace of mind.
Oh, man.
So whether you're a fraternity or just whether you're just a Kiwanis or Rotary, a civics club, we want to hear from you and ask you to serve your fellow man and show up and register with us.
I think it's a wonderful story. I'm so grateful. The website, folks, is snasy.org, SNASY.org. Your contact there is Dale Jackson. The motivation, the compelling story here is undeniable, folks, and I'm so happy to have been introduced to you. Thank you, Dale, for driving from Georgia today to be a part of the podcast.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to families like Julian that are helping me connect with some of the most amazing people and organizations in Mobile.
Well, if you think these two are amazing, you need to see more people. Julian, Olivia, I've been familiar with you all. We've watched lots of sports together on sidelines. Thank you so much. You've shown me a part of your life that I was aware of, but wasn't aware of the depth and detail of what you all go through. It's really been, like I said, I'm a little bit embarrassed that I wasn't aware of the extraordinary challenges that you all face.
Well, we take that as a compliment, Cam.
Yes.
Well, maybe so.
Because truthfully, I mean, like you said, you have seen Preston. You've seen him at ball games. We've known you. We've known you for years. And you've been around. But like you said, you didn't realize how much went into it, because that's what we have done our best to provide. That presentation to the people around us is that, hey, everything's great. We're all good. It's not a big deal. He's in a wheelchair, but it's not a big deal. And that's what we want. That's what we've worked hard to provide. And that's what SNASY is wanting to continue to provide for other families.
It's just amazing. I have great respect and admiration for all of you. Thank you so much for what you do. And thank you for making people like me aware of it. That's been very helpful. I appreciate it. Folks, you're listening to What's Working. We're going to wrap this show up. You'll find show notes with links to all this that we've talked about in there. If you're a business owner and you think there's an opportunity for sponsorship here, please reach out. This is an effort that's worthy of your time. We'll have another show upcoming. You're listening to What's Working. Talk to you soon.